attends, alors.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so Simone, start the question again.
Yeah.
I mean, she went straight into the conversation.
I went straight into what I wanted to talk about. Sorry, it's not about me. Sorry, Merhan, I'm so happy to get to meet you finally after everything I heard about you about Kenza, and I'm really excited that we get to interview you today. We can spend some time together. I really wanted to start quickly this conversation. If you could share with us a little bit about this crazy story that I read online about you helping, you help the US government catch a FBI fugitive? Can you tell us a little bit more about this crazy Hollywood-like story?
It is. It does sound like a crazy Hollywood story, but the disappointing part is when you get closer to it, you just realize that those are a group of people who are doing a job and they can either do it really well or not. It's as simple as this, but they are not as glorious as we see them putting those pieces together, unless this is someone that the government really want to catch. But what really upset me about that is the girls were Egyptian American. Their father was Egyptian. He lived in the States until he got a citizenship, and he was a taxi driver. But apparently they were a bit too westernized for his taste. He didn't like the way they dress. He didn't like the fact that they had boyfriends. So what he did was convince them that he's going to take them out for dinner and sit down and talk. Just a backdrop of the story, this guy has tortured them, raped them, abused them since they were children. And there are home videos to prove it. He recorded those videos himself when he was filming them when they're asleep, telling them that their legs look beautiful. And it's just so creepy and cringy to look at. And he took them to his car, shot them both, and killed them, and just left. And he disappeared for 12 years. One of his daughters, Sarah, managed to make a phone call to 911 while she was dying. And she told them, our dad shot us, he killed us. He saw her, turned around, shot her again, and then walked away. I was enraged. I was just new to the country. It was COVID, everything is locked down. I'm just watching documentaries, and it just felt like we are so dispendable. We don't have value. It's like anybody can just kill you and just move on with their lives. And it's just the idea that this guy could probably be a father again now. He probably got married again and has kids and probably doing the same thing, comfortable enough, because nobody's looking for him after 12 years. And I felt like nobody has really done their job. Nobody cared because those girls were Arab. And it just really upset me. So I found contacts to the friends and family because they were posting all over social media back then, years ago. And I got his picture. And I felt that if people saw the videos and they saw the girls and knew what happened, they would be as angry as I am. It would actually push someone to look. And the police will never find him, but people will, because this guy probably goes out grocery shopping, sitting at a cafe, whatever. And he could be in Egypt while they're still looking for him here. So I had that conversation with the authority, and I said, I'm a person who is so bad when it comes to directions, but I can tell that where he chose the place to shoot them and park the car and leave is very close to a bus stop that could easily take him across the border to Mexico, and from there a flight to Cairo. How would you ever find him? If he's especially from Upper Egypt living in the mountains, you can't find him. That's an extraction. That's not an arrest.
Yeah.
So I did that video. I've added subtitles. And just like I thought, the next day, it just went viral everywhere in the States and in Egypt. And I started getting messages and people saying, hey, I've seen this guy. He was buying this from that place. Until 3 of the tips actually matched. It's the exact same place, the same description of the guy and what he's wearing, and the same name of the restaurant where he goes. So I reached out to the government in Egypt because they have to arrest the person and then deport him to stand trial in the States. Yeah. And he was found in 1 week. I posted the video. The media wrote that we're looking for this guy. 1 week later, if you go to Google, arrested. And I had that convo with them when I went to Texas, because this is where he's on death row right now in Texas. And I told them, you people find terrorists who are hiding in holes in the mountains, and you are telling me that you couldn't find this guy. You just didn't put an effort into it. Their family is very simple. They don't know how to reach or where to go to ask the right questions to the right people. And that really made me upset. Do you understand sitting on misery and heartbreak for 12 long years with nothing, no justice? It kills your soul.
That's the
Those are
thing.
your
It's a
kids.
sense of injustice for like you're dehumanizing these people because, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
looking
That's
for
their
the truth.
children.
And like you said, history has a tendency to repeat itself on top of it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And the problem is when you find out the details, the fact that his son rented an apartment for him under his name, this simply tells me you didn't even do your basic due diligence. You didn't check if anybody rented an apartment with this name. Come on now. That's for me, someone who's just sitting on a desk. It's an empty
was the
suit.
police in Texas? In the state
Yes.
of Texas?
Yes, that's actually the FBI office that is supposed to handle cases like this in Texas.
You think they'd have the proper funding and resources to
You would think.
to get the job done? Yeah.
You know, that's actually the worst part is when I tried to call the FBI to say, hey, the guy you're looking for, I found him. Here's where he is. Now you can have him. The person who took the call just did not care enough. I'm telling you, the person you're looking for on the top 10 most wanted for the last 12 years. I know where he is. She just put me on hold for good 30 minutes or so. And she's just typing things and asking me, who are you? How did you get to know about that story? And I'm like, how does it matter? This guy could run away now.
It'll kill. Yes, it'll kill us.
And also, it's just a moment. Like people are saying, hey, he's right in front of me. So if we don't move right now, he's going to be gone. And you're just asking me who I am and why did I post the video? I'm like, no, you need to catch up faster than this because it's bad. So they really do not. I felt like they don't. And it heavily relies on your ethnicity, where you're from, and what do you do? And how valuable are you for the community? You know, and that's the problem that even here in San Francisco, we talk about. If the person is either African-American or Arab ethnicity like myself, you don't see those sweeping campaigns looking for them, having photos of them, having the community help with the search. That only happens if it's the majority group that has been attacked. If a white woman is missing, it's going to be completely different. And that's really upsetting, as if your pain is not equal to other people's pain.
Your life, not even the pain, it's the life right now.
It is. But that also shows us,
I mean,
yeah, that shows us our power on the ground. We don't need really that much help. Like if we actually do stick together.
But that's what's amazing, because you did it. You're a regular citizen, you know what I mean? And you did it, and it shows that other people can do it, and you can take hands into your own matters and seek justice in a non-violent way, of course. But
absolutely. Yes.
So I hope you, I mean, I'm sure that through what you did, it did inspire and it gave courage, because it takes courage and bravery also, you know. And I think you've influenced a lot of people in doing that, because then they see it can be done.
Thank you, my love. Thank you so much for putting focus on such things. I think it's really helpful. We've always got used as women to wait until we are allowed to step in, and that's not working for us anymore. As business women, as mothers, as sisters and friends, even having a problem with our community, I need to be able to pull that chair for myself and sit down on the table. You and Kenza
I think that's an amazing way. Yeah, that's an amazing way to kind of use social media in a very powerful way. And I think that's kind of like, you know, it's inspiring to see, okay, you know, like we have so much, social media has so much bad rep, but actually, like in this case, it had changed the course of a story that is so important. Like, you know, it has, you know, brought peace to our grieving mothers, you know, like I think that's amazing.
It is. We have so much power. And I think because it is scary, going back to in history, we were just having that podcast yesterday talking about women being burned on a stick, being called witches, just because they're strong, have money, or have intuition that people feared so much back in the time. And that shows us.
Funny you say that analogy, because I was thinking that exact same thought when you were telling me that the FBI lady was like, who are you? What is your thing? Why are you? And I'm like, what? Excuse me?
You feel like you called her at home, like at her house. Like, who are you? What do you mean? I'm someone who's reporting. crime, just help. And again, we get that a lot, and it just shows you how people think about it. I have good friends, and most of my friends are like you and Kenza, have their own businesses. They're successful business women. They have their own brands and they're running, companies. And we all help. Like, for example, Alana has a brand that sells clothes, and I always wear her stuff because I'm not gonna go and buy from a mass production company and not buy from a woman-owned business who I know very well what she goes through to make sure that her business is ethical and that she helps her community as well. So yes, I would rather buy from my friend and actually help my friend get the message out there. And we actually got critiqued. Oh, you guys are doing commercials for each other. And I was like, yes. And I pray to God that you find some good friends for you as well that would do the same thing for you.
Exactly.
Because what are you criticizing? You're criticizing the fact that we're good friends. You're criticizing the fact that we are giving credit to a good woman who's put in effort and created something to help other women. I'm like, yeah. And you cannot threaten us like that. We will push back. I will push back. I will earn my seat at the table, and I will sit down and take all the space that I want. I don't care if it's uncomfortable for you.
So tell me, how did such passion, what do you think such passion come from? Like, how did you build such passion?
I think it has to happen to us. When one woman goes through an ordeal or a problem, this is the only one real time in your life where you actually realize what you have, what you don't have, and how many good friends you actually have in your life. And I think when you see someone else going through it, it just triggers that emotion in you because you know how it feels and you know how crippling and how soul crushing it is. And that brings your emotion to the surface, even if you don't know that person. And that's what happened with every Me Too movement that happened and became the sweeping movement. It's because women came together because they share the same problem. They share the same pain. So I'm going to rally behind you. And I think this is where the passion comes from. I just realized that I have a lot of luxuries that other women in my country don't have. I have my voice, for example. I cannot be as vocal in my country because otherwise you end up in jail, but I can be here. I have the power to have a lawyer and fight men with money and power and influence in court. Other women don't. And that's why
tell Simone a little bit about your organization in Egypt that, is helping women. I think this is incredible what you're doing there.
We just got overwhelmed with time because when you take on one case or two or three, it's still manageable. But then we started to have hundreds of women with problems like that. They either need to be removed from an abusive house with their children, or they need to have the money to get a lawyer in court so that they can fight their abusive exes over custody. So many problems. And of course, we're not
Merhan created this organization. Yeah. So just for background, so you created this organization that help legally and financially and to support women, to get out of abusive situation, or go after someone who sexually abused or threatened them or assaulted them or something like that, right?
Yeah. When we started to get messages from women who are lawyers and women who have, just do different things that can actually help. They work in organizations and they offered to help. And I just felt like this is perfect. I can be the middleman because I have women asking for help and I have professionals offering help. I can just link them together. So we created the Female Diary, and we agreed that this is going to be a platform for all activists, even the ones that have personal differences between them. It doesn't matter because we need to rally behind a certain case. So we created that platform. We have admins who are placed in different places in the world. They receive the case, they review it, and then they give it to a lawyer. Some women would need a lawyer. Some women need a safe house. And this is where our biggest contribution goes to. Because women or people in general, they assume once the police gets them out of the house, now she's okay, but she's not. She needs a place to stay. She needs a roof above her head, food, money for transportation to go to interviews and get a job so she can be self-sufficient. And honestly, she needs, buying candy for your kids. Those are children too. They have their own needs. So we started creating different brands like Talia Treasures. This is for jewelry. All the women who are our jewelers are refugees, either from Syria, from Iraq, from Sudan, from different places. They create the jewelry, we sell it, and the money goes to the safe houses to support the women who live there. So we started with one. Now we have 5 in different places in the country, different governorates, because some of them live too far from the capital. We have classes as well, so that they learn how to get a job and to go through interviews. Rahat Fayed, my best friend, and she's my co-founder as well. She works heavily because she's a life coach with therapists, providing therapy to women who go through abuse. So we have a lot of therapists and a lot of life coaches who provide that for free as well for them. And then it just started to get bigger and bigger, and it became self-sufficient. There is synergy. We have a lot of women working around the clock to support other women who are struggling just like them. And I just feel like it's so beautiful that we can take care of each other like that. You know, it's real, it's happening. It's not just,
About
hey,
time.
I'm so sorry for what happened to you. No, you need a room, there you go. You want somebody to take your kids, there you go. You want protection, because that happens. I have men who would show up at 3 a.m. in the morning, banging on the doors of the safe houses, or they sue me for kidnapping and human trafficking because they accuse me of kidnapping their kids and their wives. And that happens a lot. So you also need to be covered legally. You need to have security in those buildings all the time to make sure that it's safe. It takes a lot of work, but thanks to women like yourselves, they make it a lot easier, you know.
I mean, that's incredible. But do you feel safe? Like, did you feel threatened? Is there any moment where you're like, okay, you know, I'm scared for myself, or you like, you know what, I'm gonna like
no,
be
actually, I
louder
think,
and own it, you know?
You know, I think once you also realize your power, I know it just sounds like a script book, but it's true. You kind of ooze that power. It becomes scary to other people. It's so funny because now when I go to Cairo and I'm in a party, a private party, I can see the demeanor and the body language of the guys around me. Is that everyone goes like back like that? Yeah, because they're like, oh, maybe if I talk to a girl, she would think I'm bothering her or something, and tomorrow my photos will be everywhere. And I'm like, good, because if you need someone to make sure you behave like a decent human being, we're here. But this should come from you. So the fact that they fear you and they know that you will not accept for anyone to step on your neck, they treat you from this angle, is that, oh, there are boundaries here, I can't. However, I live in San Francisco. We had 2 active serial killers in the last month. I could have been one of the victims. So for me, I would rather go down for something that is worth it. But to be honest, that doesn't even occupy my space. I think I got used to being attacked physically, and thankfully it hasn't happened. The divine protection is still there, but I don't really think about it. I think a guy who intends to hurt a woman has no spine to start with, and a guy like this doesn't scare me. I just feel sorry for him, you know.
Yeah, I doubt that you'll go down that easily too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go without a fight.
I know. Well, yeah. Well,
So what's next for you? Like, how do you envision the next, you know, like few years? Like, how do you see the next step, you know?
I was really thinking that I would love to see that getting bigger. And that will only happen through collaborations with other women like yourselves. If we collab our brands and our organizations together.
Yeah, trying ourselves, honestly,
yeah, to produce something.
Definitely.
I was thinking we were also amazed by what's going on in Doha and how a lot of the Middle East now started to rise in the area of women rights and supporting women. And I think we still should reach out to those organizations and be like, hey, let's do something together. Let's create a program together. So it's more official, it's more reaching. I mean, for women, it's easier to reach out when it's something that is in their city. I think we should do that more through our brands. We need to expand the message, explain to people what we do. Because every time we tell the story of OSAY, the label, or tell the story of Talia Treasures, people are always, oh, wow, we didn't know that you guys do that. This is what I would rather do. But getting that message out is also important. And I think it goes through synergy, friendships, collaborations, continuous work like that, having chats like this so we get to know about each other. What do we do? And immediately something just lights up. Like Kenza thought, oh, it's a great idea that all of us sit together and talk. And I would see someone and think, oh, I think if Kenza met that person, they can really do something good together. This is how it should be, in my opinion, you know.
I think it's amazing. I think it's so true. And I think the fact that we are in between, like, worlds, and there is still a lot to do here, but a lot to do there, and kind of bridging the gaps to kind of have real conversation and community building is so important.
It's
At the end
very
of the day,
important.
there is a lot of things that are made, but, like, there's still a lot of room for improvement. Let's just be
It
honest,
is.
like, and it's only
Absolutely.
by honest conversation that we can really move the needle forward and, empower more people, empower more women. Um,
Absolutely. And I think
but
women like us, it's so hard. The road going up is so hard. So when one of us or a group of us make it in the sense of, I made my dream a reality, I created my own brand now, I'm self-sufficient. I feel the need, since I am more privileged than others, to look around the community and help them, because we know that women get fought a lot. They don't reach the places where it's accessible for men as much. And I think we do have that responsibility to help those other women step up and get better and do better. So I think this is fantastic. What you're doing is absolutely fantastic. We need to do something, and like it soon,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
collab
definitely.
across the board.
that would be great.
And how do you, like, as a digital creator, I think how do you recommend someone starting up, like, to kind of use their power and their voice in an interesting way, because you do it in such kind of, you craft it in such kind of like interesting way that I think it would be nice, to get advice from you for someone who's starting, even for me actually,
Yeah, well, it's I think our creativity kicks in as well, depending on the need. So sometimes we figured, you know what, most of the women that we have, for example, are so good with artwork because it's part of their culture. So we have created an idea separate from the brand to do that and have an auction. And whatever is sold is going to cover the houses as well and the expenses of those women. So I think it just comes with the opportunity that presents itself as well. Some activities are still not allowed. We still need to get a lot of approvals and a lot of permissions. But I think for a woman to start something, we need to first ask ourselves, what am I good at? There is a sentence that is so true. If you're good at it, don't do it for free. And I absolutely believe in that. So what am I good at? What is something that I can do? I have one of my closest friends. She's a Palestinian and she's a great cook. She would always host us in her home and she's a fantastic cook. And we all kept telling her that she should do this as a business because she's really, really good. And we miss that kind of homemade stuff in here. And she did that. That was 2 years ago. Now she has a massive kitchen. That's her full-time job. And even her husband quit his job and now he's helping her run her business. And she's doing fantastic. But here's the difference. The difference is sometimes we need someone to tell us, you know what, you're really good.
Do it. Yeah.
You're actually good. Do it.
That's so true. That is so
we doubt
true.
ourselves. But at the end of the day, what if I failed? So what? I'm going to cook something. Nobody's going to eat it. I'm going to eat it. I'm just going to give it for charity. What is the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is we stay as we are, powerless, have nothing. But anything else, any movement is going to bring in movement. We just need each other to tell each other, you're smart. You can do this. They're not better than you. You can do it. And it does help. It works magic. I mean, look at you. This lady, whenever I call her, she's up. She's a mom. She does her brand work. She does her modeling. She goes out looking for material. She has to help the kids with their homework. We forgot the husband completely, but yeah, he exists as well. And having a social life and being active in the community, that's a lot to do. Maybe another woman staying at home mom would think of that and be like, oh, that's too much. But if she's in that situation, she's going to do it. And she will do it really well. She just doesn't know the limitations of her power yet.
Exactly. The stimulation, what it can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think it's very true. The fact that, like, we need each other to support, to kind of really kind of, like, yeah, exactly. Tell you're really good at that. Go for it. We need this encouragement and we need it from our own community. It's so powerful because you cannot do it by yourself. You can't do anything by yourself, I think. You need the support and
yes, and even the ones that can, that's a burnout. We still do not want to be slaves for our jobs. We want to enjoy our lives. We want to work in our human connections with our friends, with our family, with our kids. It should not be all work. Work for us should be security, a way to get out my creativity into the world and show people who I am and what I'm about. But it should not be controlling my life. It should not be. And I think we are in such a healthy space now as women that we understand that. We cannot be bullied into either working or not working. I'll do exactly whatever I want to do. And that kind of freedom only comes with financial freedom too. Like, hey, I'm not going to be on the street if I take a week off. And that's what I want every woman to have. We carry so much. We need to heal. And that comes with this responsibility, you know? We need to be Amazonians, just live on our own.
I agree.
Yeah.
And do you see the organization? Do you see the organization growing in other countries? Like, would you like to see it kind of like even coming to the US? Like, I think it's, you know, like the US needs so much somehow, you know, or the rest of the Arab world. Or do you see it's like expanding beyond Egypt?
Yeah, absolutely. So my friend and my cousin as well, Reem Abdulatif, she's a great journalist and she's an activist as well, Egyptian American. She started an organization called Aura, which is the African Women Rights Organization. And it is recognized in Amsterdam, the rest of Europe, and in Africa. And I was so blown away that she's done this on her own. She has put it together. She got all the licenses together. So her scope of work is more general, is bigger. It covers all of Africa, not just certain countries. And we're hoping to take that next to other countries as well. I think it's a fantastic idea to have in general. It doesn't matter what the citizenship of the women are, but they are the driving force of the business. And I think this is just fantastic because literally struggling women are supporting other struggling women. It's not a charity organization. It's actually, I'm working and I'm giving you part of my effort so that you can get on your feet. So you do the same thing for other women. And I think it's fantastic. So we're hoping to do that more here. With the Black Lives Matter community as well. I think it's a great way to start. So yeah, this is where we're heading, hopefully.
Man, something is in the family. What did you guys do? Like, it's
oh my
amazing,
God.
You know, how, like, you're like, okay, let's fight injustice all over the world. Let's go for it. I love
so
it.
Crazy. It's so crazy. My mom was just telling me, it's like, all the women in that family are angry. I was like, all women are angry. And
all women are angry.
Not just in this family, rightfully so. But yeah, she's it's crazy because we became friends before finding out that we're actually related.
That's so funny.
It's crazy, but you do find your tribe. I agree. You see how we found each other and it immediately clicks that you click with the person because you're so aligned on the vision and where you want to be and the personality as well. And this is what makes us stronger with time because you get that conviction when you meet someone like you. They're like, oh,
men don't share like that. Men don't share like that. Men don't learn by appropriation, by, you know, our aunts, our moms teach us a lot of things.
Absolutely.
In life.
And also men have the liberty of trial and error. We don't. If a man fails in something, he just picks up something else and he will go on. But we will always be called losers because we couldn't do it, even if you didn't do it once, right? I had that argument with an Uber driver in Cairo. My mom knows that I can't hold my tongue. So we're in Uber and that guy is making remarks about a woman who's driving a car in front of him. And he's like, oh, every woman now is driving a 2 million worth of whatever car. I was like, excuse me, are you paying for her car or is she paying for her own car? And he's like, yeah, but they're not great drivers. I was like, well, maybe if we were born in a country that allowed us to get classes just like you and drive as early as you without being sexually harassed and without having a guy who's trying to bang into my car and I'm always the prey and the victim on the road, maybe we would be better drivers. So for now, suck it up and get used to it. And my mom was like, oh, yeah, you got to push back because this guy would say the same sentence again to another person and again
go
to
on and on.
person.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so you've got to tell him, hey, buddy, you don't get to say that because
Take
you're ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. Keep driving your cab. Just mind your own business.
I love it. Merhan, it was so nice to meet you. I have to run. I'm so sorry.
Oh, so nice to meet you too. Thank you. Thank you
was
for making the
excellent.
time.
I'd love to see you face to face one day.
I want to ask you 2 seconds a question about OSAY. So how do you wear your OSAY? What do you like about OSAY? You know,
oh my God.
Okay. You got us some of the most beautiful pictures we have. We're so excited.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for them, because I just fell in love with them. I always had a problem with shoes like that, is that I have very sensitive skin. I always get blisters. First time ever in my life to have new shoes and I don't get blisters at all. It's so comfy. You can wear it in, you can wear it just like loafers, and so comfy. I've done that in Doha with my abaya and I felt like, oh, I'm just so loose and flowy, and it's just great.
Yeah.
Super comfortable. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it matters, because I'm sure you've noticed when the weather is so hot, you blister easily because you sweat and it's hot because of the friction. But that did not happen at all.
Yeah.
Even in cold weather, it was fine. In hot weather, it was fine. And I was like, I love that. It's a huge part of it is the culture, because this is how it's worn in Tunisia. And I love the whole look because it's so elegant. You can just wear it on jeans. You can wear it on abaya. You can wear it on formal attire if you're going to a business meeting. It just goes with everything. And I'm
I
like,
got
oh,
married.
yeah.
I got married in Babouche. So
Oh my
You did.
God.
yeah, my
That's
whole
amazing
wedding
people,
party.
yeah.
Everybody
Oh my
was
God,
wearing
it's so
babouche.
cool. And of course, you guys know, because we travel a lot. So whenever I go home, my mom would go through my stuff and she's like, because if I like something, I can take it. And then when you go back, you can buy another one. And then I saw her creeping onto the shoes. I was like, not these.
Smart lady.
No.
Smart lady.
Yeah.
We
I
need to
told
get
her,
her some. We
I'm
need to
going to
make
get
sure
you a
you.
pair. Yeah. And you see,
Yeah.
this is why I'm like, it doesn't fit you. And she's like, I can wear it like that. I don't have to put it all the way in. I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have told her that you can wear it like that. But yeah, she loved it. I love the shoes. Absolutely fell in love. I think every woman should have a pair that are reliable. For real. Like, just put them in your bag. It's so easy. I hate being in heels the whole day. And of course, most of my days I'm in heel. So this is, for me, is like a bless. Once I put my foot in, I'm like, oh, finally.
We're so happy to hear. You know, for example, I mean, if you're uncomfortable in your shoe, it's still part of the brain, you know?
Yes.
So you know, like,
Yes, it
to go to
is.
your full potential, you need to be comfortable.
Absolutely. When you're in pain, yes, my focus is on something else. Absolutely. I'm just more focused on how can I hold it together for 2 more hours.
Simone, we're gonna let you go, and I'm gonna stop the recording. I want to tell you something after Merhan. Bye, Simone.
Bye.
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 Attends, let me stop the record 2 seconds.
Yeah. Here we go.
Sorry, I don't know what they did. She left. No, she's still here.
Oh, here,
Is
still
it?
recording.
It's still recording. Bon.
Yeah, it's still
Ah,
how to